What's up, guys? Glory, glory to the divine, glory to the Creator, glory to the one and only. Um, Heavy message, super heavy. Um, Basically, a message. I mean, it'll say it in here. A message for those who tremble at the name, um, or who tremble at the word, the truth. Uh, the true justice that can see like what's really going on around here. Um, I just want to like bring up Sodom and Gomorrah, not specifically for any reason, right? Like, I want to bring it up in a way that doesn't point anybody out because we're all guilty, right? That's why we needed grace and mercy. That's why we need to tremble at the name. That's why we need to give glory to God, to the divine, to whatever it is in control. There is a fundamental essence out there that likes to balance things out. And history has a way of repeating itself. So just imagine this book being like super smart analysts analyzers that like were able to like stem people's conduct in society to the earth's conduct, as far as like geographical changes, as far as like volcanic eruptions, stars. um Imagine these people being like super in touch with like this, like the way our conduct is on earth, lining up to what comes next. Okay, so like Sodom and Gomorrah, don't look at it like God's punishing you. Look at it like, hey, statistically speaking, that cities that have acted like this kind of way, like that have been rich but didn't like to help the poor, that have been very like exclusive of any kind of foreigner to their land, that have been um, very like highly sexual. I mean, it happens to go in the homosexual realm, right? Like as far as like gay or whatnot, but probably more on the aggressive side. Like not out of choice because it's your like best friend, but probably because they're like, "Ooh, I like you." I would imagine it was like more like people were just like not questioning how that came about. Like nobody cared, to listen and figure it out and be like, "Yo, okay," like it's not. Anyways, when those things came up, which were markers in those cities, they were destroyed by like fire and by like brimstone, like volcano. It sounds volcano-y, right? Like, or like meteorite-y. Like we get reports all the time about volcanoes, meteorites, lava, like, and earthquakes. And so like back in the day, they were able to say or record, hey, you know what, if a city gets to this point, like if anything reminds you about this kind of stuff that happened, because we've never seen a city destroyed like that before. Let's record what happened before it got destroyed, so that if we see that same thing again, we'll be able to put our red flags up and say, whoa, 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 something bad's about to happen. So look at it like in that kind of sense. We're here. It's here. Red flags. Run. Basically, run, because the divine says, "This is the one I esteem." Right? Like, and then it carries on and says, "He who is humble and contrite in spirit, and trembles at my word, and trembles at my facts." Like, the person that can like sit down and not get mad that I'm reading out of this book, but can be like, all right, let me hear what you got. Let me hear what you're saying. He who can do that and can tremble at this word, because the only things this book talks about is destructive analytics and statistics from what cities have been like to what happened to cities afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to really like take take it out of context to make it more relative. Okay, so um it's saying, like, if people are like killing a man, whoever sacrifices a bull is like one who kills a man. Whoever offers a lamb is like one who breaks a dog's neck. Whoever makes a grain offering is like one who presents pig's blood, and whoever burns memorial incense is like one who worships an idol. They have chosen their own ways, and their souls delight in their abominations. So I also will choose harsh treatment for them and will bring upon them what they dread. Okay, so a lot of people weren't um listening to the statistics before, right? Like they were choosing to like be like, we don't believe in what you've been telling us, or what, like your prophets come down and say to us. Prophets being like your, like the people studied in the statistics of knowing, hey, if this happens, that happens. They like to say they talk to God. So I mean, they were on a whole nother level of understanding and trying to bring it to the people, like, yo, there is an authority, there is an issue coming up that we understand is coming up. um like, we gotta fix this. And they were saying God. I still say God. I still say the divine. Like, I try and make it relative. I try not to be too specific or whatever. You got to be humble enough to just input whatever it is that's there. But they were going like way out of the way of like not taking necessarily the facts, but like trying all kinds of weird things, like killing people, murking blood, like doing pig's blood stuff, burning incense to um you know, as memorials or whatever, like in ancestry kind of stuff, like lineage and bloodline kind of stuff. Not good, because I don't know, it brings up like a door for some other crap to happen. It seems like it brings the timeline statistically a little bit closer. Um, so they have chosen their own way, so I also choose the harsh treatment for them, and will bring upon them what they dread. For when I called, no one answered. When I spoke, no one listened. They did evil in my sight, and chose what displeases me. They chose to do these things instead of trying these other ways that, like, they tried every other way except for the way of what, like, these people were coming and saying, hey, we're seeing these problems, we should try and fix it this way. They went and did thousands of other ways without trying that way. Like that, like, here's a fix to a problem. Like, we can see that you've been doing this and you've been doing that, and I've been doing this and you've been doing that. But if we all can just like try this one different thing out that we haven't been trying, we're trying everything else, we're just not all together trying this out. Like, we'll all be okay and unified without this. That's crazy, because you're trying like million other different things. Try one thing out together and see if it works. It's the only thing that's gonna work. Like, so it brings up this guy's like, dude, you know what, I'm gonna bring the stuff that you fear on there because you didn't listen to this word. Like, you didn't listen to trying to like try this out. Like, you're always told that it's weird or it's sideways, but nobody's listening and trying this out. Like, and you know what else, I think there's a tactic out there that like people were doing, like nasty stuff, like videos of people, oh, I'm a Christian and you won't let me have my Walmart basket, or like, people do that on purpose. They put that video out there so that you still don't try it. Like, look at America. Like, we punished a lot of different countries, and it seems like, almost like at this point now, it seems like almost for no reason. Like, if we turn away, then the punishment's coming here. You get what I'm saying? Remember the ancient way. Kind of deserve it though, but they said they were doing it in the name of Christianity. So did the Catholics when they were doing the Crusades or whatever. Like, they were pushing out, like, they used that as a reason to like murk, and they're saying, oh, what about Israel too and whatnot. Like, these are like natural disaster things that were happening. I'm trying to get back to statistics and like, oh, it's kind of sounding bad. Get back to statistics and just um, know that the history repeats itself. So if we're back to like a Sodom Gomorrah thing, you can expect a Sodom Gomorrah kind of outcome. Okay, so and that's might be what's going on here. Okay. Anyways, it keeps on going. It says that, I will also choose a harsh treatment for them and bring upon them what they dread. For when I called, no one answered. When I spoke, no one listened. They did evil in my sight and chose what displeases me. Hear the word of the Lord, you who tremble at his word. Your brothers who hate you and exclude you because of my name have said, and this is a marker, okay? This goes out for this goes out for anybody that said this, just as a sign saying that there is a watcher out there, listening. Your brothers who hate you and exclude you because of my name have said, let the Lord be glorified, that we may see your joy. Yet they will be put to shame. Hear that uproar from the city. Hear that noise from the temple. It is the sound of the Lord repaying his enemies all they deserve. A lot of stuff has been burning up, right? I'm in California. It's getting crazy out here. Ashes falling on the ground. Things are, becoming. It's getting weird, but a lot of these places, nobody's talking about really what these places were about ritually speaking. They won't. They won't talk about that because they don't want you to know about that. It's a secret. They like to keep their rituals a secret. But a lot of these places are burning up for the practices that were being done over there. I assume that might be the spirit talking. Probably is, but let's just keep going with that. Your brothers will say, let the Lord be glorified, that we may see your joy. So it's saying like you'll have brothers that say they believe in the same thing, right? They say, let the Lord be glorified, that we may see your joy. I don't really get that. It just sounds like they believe in the same thing, but really like they're not in their heart with you. Yet they will be put to shame because their trust might be in something different. Okay, like it's kind of weird. I don't like to go too much. I'm thinking too much personally about this right now, and it's making me feel weird. Um, I mean, that's what it does sometimes. It's like, hear the uproar from the city. It is the sound of the Lord repaying his enemies all they deserve. There's a chosen people out there that, deserve a lot more than what they've been given. There's a people out there been calling for justice and not taking it into their own hands. Good job, by the way, for not taking it into your own hands. The principle is being burnt out. Um, anyways, before she goes into labor, she gives birth. Before the pains come upon her, she delivers a son. Who has ever heard such a thing? Who's ever even seen these things? So, anyways, I think it's kind of saying, like, dude, why do you, like, you're seeing the Lord's work in action right now. Live, we are seeing the Lord's work totally in action, dude. Like, I know this place is kind of like that. What is it? Daughter or Babylon or the Chaldeans, something like that. I might have had a dream that said Chaldea on the western side of the United States. Like I was taken up right. Okay, so check this out. First time I say this, I was taken up and I had a dream. I went up into this. I try not to say it because they're like all false dreams, false visions. But really, I had this dream that I went up in this like sailboat, nice big like old school, look like the ships from 300, that movie 300, or even from um dang, what was that one? Troy, from that movie Troy. Um, and even like kind of like Egyptian-y. I don't know why I'm thinking Egyptian-y, but it had a white tint on it. Inside was like eight golden lampstands, like maybe 7 or 8 gold lampstands with the veil in the middle. Had this veil and like smoke was coming out from this veil behind it. And I asked who it was. They're like, "Oh, I've been the one that's been leading you." Whoopty whoop. They asked, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Let's go as high." I always loved, like, in my dreams, going on space travels. So I was like, "Let's go as high as we can." Only took us to the top of this Earth's atmosphere, and we were looking down, and there were like old writings on the United States, and there were three different names written on it. On the western side was Chaldeans. Um, so I'm thinking that we got our first signs of birth pains as far as like disaster goes. Honestly, being birthed like for disaster here, there might be something spiritual going on. Maybe, maybe a woman in labor that needs to, whatever she's giving birth to needs to get out of her so that she could be herself, no longer with the wickedness inside of her. um Anyways, it's it's weird that came up, and it's just basically he who is humble and contrite in spirit. um the message for me today was, you know what, dude, like, we need to, like, stop being lawless. We need to stop, like, pretending like everything's okay. We need to start being real with each other. And if things piss us off, then we need to learn how to know that we piss other people off, but to really, like, get at the heart of what's pissing us off. Um, if there's things we don't like about other people, maybe we need to get to know them and figure out why they're like that. Um, but honestly, I think it's a little too late. I'm not one to say it is or it isn't. It's just that, things are flaming up. Um, the evil's already being pushed out through that, even with this COVID crap. I think that that's in a way something that's just the Lord's hand going out there and doing its thing. Um, yeah, that was the message. Uh, anyways, keep it up. Um, I think the comings. I think the comings soon. There is a Jeremiah put a belt next to the Euphrates as a sign. The belt was to resemble Israel, right? Or, the people, the remnant, maybe even. Anyways, I was thinking, what would it be like when he picked up the belt and it was worth nothing. It was all like eaten up and like worth nothing. And it's like, what would that have meant if the belt wasn't there? Um, is that like a complete like wipe? Is that a taken up? I was just wondering that. Take it easy.